On June 6, 2015, I went camping to Elephant Butte Lake with my family. While my husband was pitching the tent, I decided to go swimming with my dog Squishy. He was a good swimmer like me. I lost track of him and heard loud dogs barking. Next thing I saw was my husband and another guy running to the water and rushing to help them out. A mastiff was biting Squishy and holding him down under the water until the guys came to rescue. My husband rushed Squishy to an emergency vet clinic and came back with Squishy, who suffered 8 lacerations. Exactly a week later, Squishy passed away due to the infections on his wounds and his kidneys failure. The vet couldn't bring him back to life. He's gone. During this time of grieving for Squishy, I quickly learned the important value of life, whether it's a dog, any animal, plants, or human life. Which leads me to the subject of today's speech, the value of life against abortion. First, I will talk about the process of abortion. Second, I will talk about the side effects of abortion. And lastly, I will talk about the value of life. I know this is a very touchy subject, but I've been in a situation where I have to choose between my son's life or abortion. Abortion is legal in the United States, but there are countries all over the world that still believe otherwise. But first, let me define what abortion is. As defined in dictionary.com, abortion is the removal of an embryo or fetus from the uterus in order to end pregnancy. It was also defined as any various surgical methods for terminating pregnancy during the first 6 months. Now I'll talk about the process of abortion. According to eMedicineHealth.com, Dr. Suzanne Archupin said that the politically crafted term partial birth abortion, which means partially vaginally delivering a living fetus before killing the fetus and completing the delivery. Another process of abortion is called dilatation and evacuation. According to the previous source, Chupin said once that the cervix is enlarged through dilatation. The procedure is accomplished using a combination of suction, curettage, and manual evacuation of the fetus and placenta. Ultrasound may be used to guide the tools as well. This is done during the first 6 months of pregnancy. After my thorough research on abortion, all definitions and processes explained are leading to termination of a fetus, simply meaning killing the fetus. Now that we've understood what abortion is, I will talk about the negative side effect of abortion. First is the physical side effects of abortion. According to AmericanPregnancyOrg.com, these side effects are heavy or persistent bleeding, risk of infection or sepsis, damage to the cervix, scarring of the uterine lining, perforation of the uterus, damage to other organs, or even the risk of death. These physical effects not only talks about the damage abortion can do to a human body and the fetus, it can also lead to another death of the pregnant woman. Secondly, abortion not only physically damages the body, it also creates a series of emotional side effects. In an article, Physical and Psychological Effects of Abortion, it states that most women who went through abortion suffered from PAS, which they call as a post-abortion syndrome. This syndrome is used to describe the emotional and psychological consequences of abortion. This syndrome happens when a woman who had an abortion buried and denied the feelings of fear, anxiety, guilt, shame, and grief after the process, which also leads to these feelings resurfacing and magnified through time. Once a woman is suffering from this syndrome, they will start showing the symptoms, which are guilt, anger, anxiety, depression, or sense of loss, and can lead up to one of the most leading cause of death in the military as well, which is suicide. So far, the effects of abortion still shows death, even that not only by the fetus, but also for the pregnant woman. Which leads me to my last topic, the value of life. In a study done by the Minnesota Citizens Concerned for Life Statistics, shows this graph, I'm about to show you, there you go. This graph shows that about 1.05 million abortions were done during the year of 2012 to 2013, and this is the total number of abortions from 1973 up to 2013. Mind you that this statistics only shows voluntary reporting of abortionists, and it does not include any unreported abortions, which leads me to say that there are more abortions that were done. So my point is, how do we value life? During a sermon preached on January 9, 2005 in Albuquerque, New Mexico, Reverend Christine Robinson said, "We've all heard that abortion stops a beating heart. It's a variety of murder. And that those who value life will not only not have abortions, they will not tolerate a society which allows them." She also said the problem comes because life is not our only moral value. Another value we all have is liberal and conservative alike. Find precious is freedom. In most cases, as a matter of fact, when these two values clash, we opt for freedom over life. This leads me to conclude that once human beings are given the chance to choose between freedom and life, we tend to choose freedom. Who doesn't want freedom? We tend to not sacrifice, and we won't see the effects until it's time to regret what we've done. Lastly, the Center of Reproductive Rights conducted a study on the world's abortion laws in June 2013, which also states that all over the world, there are still 66 countries that prohibits abortion or can only make explicit exemptions to save a woman's life. This study also says that there are only 61 countries in the world that legally allows abortion, while there are 59 countries that authorizes abortion in preservation of a woman's life or health, while the remaining 31 countries allow abortion in socio-economic grounds, explicitly permit abortion based on consideration of factors such as woman's age, economic status, or marital status. Which leads me to say that there are more countries around the world that continue to believe in the value of life over freedom. This year alone, million fetus will be killed, and another million women will be at risk mentally and physically due to abortion. The only way to stop this is to value life more and accept God's given gift to all of us, which is life. It seems impossible to change the law, but we can change the way we all think. Life is important, as well as the life of the future generations. We have to think that in every abortion, a fetus is killed, and we'll never know what he or she might be the next Einstein or the next Aristotle. We'll never know because they were killed while they were a fetus.